it's a lovely good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Yambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: PF drags the ECZ to court for proceeding with the KWACHA and KABUSHI by-elections. Firefighters prevent a filling station calamity. National health insurance to cover kidney transplants. And in international news, Uganda's Ebola outbreak death toll climbs to 19. In sports news, Zambian women beat Morocco at the World Cup Pool Championship.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, my dear. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Prime plots filled with beautiful views are now available for sale in Palavana. They will have tarred roads, electricity, water, golf course, 24-hour security, and more. They are on title and you can view them. With a standard 20% initial deposit, you will already be on your way to owning land Kumayard. We have 40 by 25 meters going for 240,000 and our 50 by 42 going for 300,000. Both have flexible payment plans. They are located 28 kilometers from Crossroads Mall and 16 kilometers from New Kasama's Boom Gate along Leopards Hill Road. For viewings, purchases, and inquiries, call the numbers on the screen.
Hello, once again, another news in detail. A state witness has testified before the Economic Financial Crimes Court about how Anti-Corruption Commission officers visited their department at Pakra requesting details of a company called SCK General Suppliers Limited. Ilunga Chitanta, an assistant inspector at the Pakra, told Magistrate Irene Washimanga Wednesday that he gave the officers details about the said company, which included information about the directors. This is in a case in which former director of the Forestry Department, Ignatius Makumba, and his 6 co-accused have pleaded not guilty to 41 counts of attempting to illegally export containers of Mukula logs. More in this report.
Exporting of Mukula logs has been a topic of discussion for quite some time, which has seen the Anti-Corruption Commission make several arrests on individuals they suspect might be involved in the illegal activity. Among those arrested and currently being prosecuted before the courts of law is former director of the Forestry Department, Ignatius Makuba, and 6 others with 2 counts of abuse of authority of office and 39 counts of attempting to export Mukula logs, charges which they have denied before the courts of law. Wednesday morning, the Lusaka's magistrate under the Specialized Economic Financial Crimes Court heard testimony from an assistant inspector at Pakra of how SEC officers visited the institution requesting information of a company called SCK General Supply Limited. Ilunga Chitanta narrated how he retrieved a document called a computer printout from the e-Pakra system in relation to the earlier mentioned company. The document contained information of the company name, date of incorporation, and also contained information of who the directors and shareholders are and how many shares each shareholder has in a company. According to the allegations before court, former Industrial Development Corporation Group Chief Executive Officer Mateo Kaluba, Zambia Army Chief of Operation Brigadier General Y.S. Mlenga, former Director of the Forestry Department Ignatius Makuba, and former Executive Director in the Office of the President Special Division Nevas Njovu regularize an attempting illegal export of 23 trucks in Chirundo border and 16 containers of the same Mukula logs through Kadama Muliro border, which were being transported by Axon Tembo of ACK General Supply Limited for export to China, but were intercepted. The offense is said to have taken place between the 1st and the 3rd of September 2021. At the time, the accused were members of the Central Joint Operations Committee. Other persons in this case are Gilbert Mulinga, a Zambia Army retiree, and Axon Tembo, a Lusaka businessman. According to a statement that was issued by the Anti-Corruption Commission, Mr. Kalua, on dates unknown but between the 1st of March 2020 and the 31st of March 2021, whilst acting together with other persons unknown, did abuse the authority of his office by directing Zambia Forestry and Forest Industrial Corporation, ZAFICO, to enter into a contract of sale dated the 16th of June 2021 in relation to Mukula tree logs without following procurement procedure. Trial continues tomorrow, the 13th of October 2022. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Opposition Patriotic Front Acting Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa has dragged the Electoral Commission of Zambia (ECZ) to the Constitutional Court for its decision to proceed with the by-elections in KWACHA and KABUSHI constituencies before the final determination of matters scattered in various courts. Mr. Chilanga has contended that ECZ has no mandate to proceed with conducting the by-elections in the two respective constituencies before the Court of Appeal hears a ruling against the High Court to suspend the elections that were to be held on the 15th of September 2022. The applicant further contends that there is nowhere in the Constitution where ECZ is given powers to bar candidates that have already lost their seats through nullifications. More in this report.
With only 10 days remaining till the people of KABUSHI and KWACHA constituency head to the polls, following a statement issued by the Electoral Commission of Zambia on the 11th of October 2022 that the by-elections will be held on the 21st of this month, the opposition Patriotic Front have gone back to the Constitutional Court challenging the decision. The party, through its Secretary General Nixon Chilangwa, says it is contempt of court for ECZ to set the date of the by-elections for the two constituencies because the three matters relating to KABUSHI and KWACHA posed before the courts of law have not been concluded yet. Yesterday, the Commission issued a statement announcing the date of the by-elections in the two respective constituencies, despite the matter being active in court. Now, in an affidavit in support of originating summons filed before the Constitutional Court by Mr. Chilangwa, he explains that after ECZ rejected the nomination papers of their two adopted candidate, former KABUSHI Member of Parliament Mr. Bowman Lusambo and his counterpart, former KWACHA Member of Parliament Joseph Malanji, they proceeded to the Constitutional Court, where it was ruled that the nullification did not mean disqualification of a candidate. The party then proceeded to the High Court, where they sought, among other reliefs, that the court orders ECZ to accept the nomination papers of Mr. Malanji and Lusambo, which then saw the High Court suspend the by-elections, which were supposed to be held on the 15th of September 2022. However, before a verdict was delivered, the state rushed to the Court of Appeal, staying all the proceedings before the High Court. The party now seeks the court's ruling on why ECZ, who is also part of the various matters that are before court, would decide to proceed with the by-elections before the final determination of the matter. For now, the party puts its hope in the court as it continues to fight so as to see its two adopted candidates, Mr. Malanji and Lusambo, on the ballot papers. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
A raging fire that almost swept through Puma Filling Station and Mumana Pleasure Resort hostels on the Great East Road in Lusaka has been successfully quenched by a combined team of officers from the Zambia Air Force and the local authority fire brigade. The fire is alleged to have been started by squatters in a bushy area between the filling station and the hostels, managed to reach inches of underground fuel storage and entered the hostel's restaurant. However, officers from the Zambia Air Force Fire Brigade who arrived first on the scene and were joined later by the Lusaka City Council Fire Brigade officers managed to stop the fire from spreading and causing a disaster.
Around 11 hours this morning, workers of Puma filling station went into panic mode after a fire erupted in the bushes that formed part of the fuel infrastructure's parameters. The fire, whose billowing smoke covered the Great East Road and the entire filling station, was coming from the burning grass just before Mumana Pleasure Resort. At Puma filling station along the Great East Road, as you can see behind me, is a plume of smoke. And on people that are said to live up yonder there, it's quite a bushy area, are suspected to might have caused this fire that is actually threatening to actually spread across this particular filling station near Chainama. It's called Puma Filling Station. Filling station workers abandoned their workstations and drenched it with water to prevent the rapidly growing fire from spreading and engulfing the obviously highly flammable area. The Lusaka City Council Fire Brigade are actually arriving on the scene to beef up support to the Zambia Air Force Fire Brigade. As you can see the truck behind me there. The whole area was covered in smoke as officers from the Zambia Air Force battled the fire from spreading to the filling station. The smoke is actually so suffocating. As you can see, I've been told that tanks up there are actually containing fuel liquids, and the men and women from the Zambia Air Force behind me are trying to actually cut the fire from actually spreading. The officers bravely quenched the fire with hoses of jutting water before it could spread to the filling station and the nearby car showroom. The firefighters from the Lusaka City Council were advised that the fire had spread to the next Mumana Pleasure Resort, where they rushed. The hostels have been turned into boarding houses for medical students from the nearby Levi Mwanawasa University. Some students were on top of the hostel roof trying to stop the fire from spreading any further. They were joined by the local authority fire brigade, who stood between the wall fence and the fire. The raging fire had even entered the restaurant area of the premises, where students were already quenching it with bucketfuls of water. A caretaker of the hostels has accused some criminal elements who have been squatting in the nearby bush thicket of having started the inferno.
Well, the fire started from the filling station there under that big tree. Yeah. Now, because of the wind, then it spread to our place here. Okay. That's how the grass started out as got bent.
I'm being told some people live in the bushes there.
Yeah, there are some bushes in there. It's like they are cooking there. Now they left their pots after cooking in there. That's how the fire started from that.
Do you see these individuals in the day?
In the day, they are not seen. In the day, they go where to do their own activity. Then in the night, it's like that's why they hide. Okay. Yeah. And this is not the first time that the fire is threatening this place and the filling station. Yes. Remember, was it in 2019? Yeah, 2010 when we had this. A medical student who had taken part in stopping the fire also gave an account.
By then, we start fetching water. Then after that, the fire. Then from there, we used our initiative to start pulling some bucket of water that side.
By 11:30 hours, the fire had been managed, remaining with smoldering grasses. Tito Kalama, Camnet News.
The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has expressed disappointment at the conduct of the new management at Chalanga Cement in Kafue district, which has employed foreign nationals without advertising positions. According to reports, 63 Zambian employees have left the company in a short period of transition since the new Chinese management took over the company, and the positions have already been filled without them being advertised. Minister of Labour and Social Security Brenda Tambatamba, who inspected the company premises, says a number of red flags have been identified in the firm and says she does not want the issues to escalate to industrial unrest. Meanwhile, Labour Commissioner Givens Muntengwa says the ministry will write to the Immigration Department to avail the ministry with the details of the expatriates, failure to which the minister will invoke its power to ensure that the right people take up the positions.
We're going to take in a situation where some jobs we are not advertising as
Thank you so much. As you know, as a ministry, our mandate is to administer the law, and the law tells us that whatever vacancy arises in an institution, the first thing that an institution must do is to advertise that job so that Zambians with the necessary or requisite skills and qualifications can apply. Only when Zambians do not possess those qualifications or skills should the employer now go across the borders and employ expatriate staff. So in this case already, we do not seem to have found evidence of those adverts, and as such, we have to ensure that the law is complied with. We write to immigration, we write to the company so that they avail us the necessary documents, failure to which we shall invoke our powers and ensure that those people vacate those positions and due process of the law is followed and the right people take up the position. This is not in any way harassing the expatriates, so to say, but we are merely ensuring that the law is complied with. Until this law is amended, for now, this is the law that we must respect. No one is above the law. No one must cry foul, because the law requires that Zambians must first be given that priority. So we are here to ensure that the law is administered. We are here to ensure that the law is respected. There is no sacred cow. There's no one above the law. We are also respecting of the law, and we also expect the company to respect the law. So what we are going to do is to ensure that the law is respected.
How do you appoint
The National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, has reviewed the benefits package and will now cover local kidney transplant procedures. NEMA board chairperson Dr. Richard Mwinga told a media briefing that the scheme is currently financing renal hemodialysis procedures for approximately 162 patients from 9 healthcare providers, 2 of which are private institutions. More in this report.
Kidney failure, a condition in which the kidneys lose their ability to remove waste and balance fluids, has become one of the leading causes of death in the world, and Zambia has not been spared. The increasing number of deaths due to the condition can be attributed to lack of resources by the patients, as the dialysis procedure is quite an expensive one. In an effort to provide medical cover for its clients, the National Health Insurance Management Authority, NEMA, at a briefing held in Lusaka Wednesday, says it has reviewed the benefit package and will now cover local kidney transplant procedures.
NEMA has also reviewed the benefit package and will now cover local kidney transplant procedures. The scheme is currently financing renal hemodialysis procedures for approximately 162 patients from 9 healthcare facilities, 2 of which are from the private sector. In 2021, 1,885 dialysis cycles were approved and conducted at the total cost of 2.8 million.
The authority was, however, quick to mention that it does not cover for radiotherapy for cancer patients, as the procedure is too expensive, but says considerations are being made for the future.
Now, I hasten to add that NEMA does not cover radiotherapy. NEMA does not cover radiotherapy. And I think this is one area, looking at the area of cost, is a matter that we are exploring, but in light of the fact that we must match contributions to the package, it is part of the considerations of the actuarial investments.
Additionally, the authority says it has collected approximately 479 million kwacha in contributions from January to June 2022, but says the authority is exploring alternative revenue streams through the National Health Insurance Scheme, as well as effective strategies to strengthen its collection from the contributory revenue streams.
Compliance rates. We're looking at increasing the rate of compliance of those members that are actually contributing into the pool. And we are doing this by employing inspectors who support our relationship managers to engage our members to be able to pay. Because it's a risk pooling mechanism, it's every member pays their contribution into the pool.
Basically, we do realize that there has been a challenge in this regard, and we have started engaging ZAMSA, who actually have the mandate on the provision of drugs in these health care providers.
14 vehicles amounting to 8.5 million kwacha has also been acquired to help with easy movement in the delivery of services to the people of Zambia. The use of technology to improve service delivery to customers has also been enhanced, and the authority says it looks to growing the scheme by ensuring that those in the informal sector are also brought on board. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Over 50 traders at Lusaka's Buseko market in Matero constituency have been displaced by an unknown developer who has built a huge war fence on their trading place, extending even on the railway line belonging to the Zambian Railways. In interviews, the aggrieved traders say this has disadvantaged them as they are already competing for limited market space. The traders alleged that the construction of the war fence began during the Patriotic Front time, administration calling for investigations. More in this report.
It is no secret that market space, especially in Lusaka, whose population is ever increasing, is regarded as precious. The battle for space at markets like Lusaka's Buseko market in Matero constituency is even more pronounced, as this market even has people traveling from as far as Western Province to sell various goods. The looming danger of displacement has irked some market traders after an unknown person began constructing on the rail reserve in the area, expanding to their trading place. A check by Camnet News found the said war fence, which has been built to seal off the land, but no construction of buildings has yet begun inside the war fence. The aggrieved traders have called for investigations on how the war fence is being constructed on a rail reserve, with part of it being constructed on top of the rail line.
Situation ya lero zifwe kuno wanatuza kuti lero zisibagulisa njanji. Bai tunadaba kuti bawo wanagula njanji, banagula in place. So chintu amene tufuna uziva pano bafuna utupishapo na koendanse tulipe. Ndiye chintu chamene tufuni koziva isi. Ngati banasitala kuti kugulisa njanji nasi batupase ko kanshi place tugule. So ise tudandaula manje tuzaendera kuti manera kutukweza nkala pati pamene bazatufaka ni pati pembati wa president watu watuyangane padi ichi chamene chachitika use nyanji wanambogulisa
banasiyapo pakati apati apa nipopita train apa masituza ati banavala apa so manya abantu bazaenda kuti so tipemba kuti ba president abantu abatandizire pamene bazaenda kwa babangailepo kati maita ala kuti munga bangabike property munjanji.
Dandaula yanga meni linayo awanzato wenzana ta complain ku office kwatu kuja kutata tadabwache abantu babwera baleta mabloko bambomanga so mwe wanzato wachipani tie mwene mutitandizireko so tinanyamuka ise uja ku office na kubwera kuno zona tinapeza nishizona wamanga offense.
Meanwhile, market spokesperson Micha Milimo says the traders need urgent help before they are displaced.
Ndanana kuzana tumange panjanji. So my appealing to local government minister, Mr. Gary Nkombo, can you follow this matter so that we know who is behind this structure behind me here?
They have called for an end to all illegalities, stating that this incident must be thoroughly investigated. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Residents of Lusaka's West Chimutengo area have called on the authorities to take remedial measures on the quarrying site that is posing an environmental hazard and a death trap in the area. Those interviewed fear that the pit may affect the road and may cause serious accidents in the long run. But when reached for a comment, the owner of the pit, Charles Mbimbi, told Camnet News that the pit is legal and that procedure was followed. He further explained that the area has now been decommissioned and that no expansion activities will be taking place. More in this report.
Sand mining and quarrying has numerous social and economic benefits in the country. For instance, infrastructure development such as roads and housing is made possible. But when the development minerals are gotten, it leaves long-lasting trenches, and according to environmental experts, the extraction of sand, stones destabilizes the ecosystem and compactness of the earth and the underlying rocks. The residents of Lusaka West Chimtengo area on the Kwedin pit in the area which they feel may cause environmental hazards. The aerial view, of course, revealed the existence of the pit along Mungwi Road, and we physically went on the site where some residents informed this journalist that the pit is being used for extraction of sand. However, they are concerned that the pit may lead to an accident and affect the viability of the road.
The rain season, chikala chile pono, so because of na chipana tamu akishani, so kuchukua limbi accident hapa na wakutafia abantu limbi tuwa chefini tunono shani, sio wakesi chepe accident. In case moto kaisa roana hapa, in case ya pone mmoja. Imi kwa wangu gai if not pamela put in case tira chile pono, na mwefu chile chikapa, tira chile pono, so in case kunta ndabwa chakana kuda kwene. Yalita in case ya muruji muda. So I'm accident na kushaba dangerous.
Moto kwa sometimes uzafunika bari, mbona kuchambu diripa. Dangerous manini. Bana sometimes wasewera kuipa, ija last time ngombe na kweramu hano. Zimenyana inapwera yako no. Risk ilipo so hapa zanji kuni kapana kwa pempa wena pangi ko bari. Ita protect so that moto kwa rongati yaenda.
We spoke to the owner of the pit, Mr. Charles Mbaimbai, who informed us that the pit is a legal entity in that procedure was followed before quelling activities started.
Whoever is complaining about us sticking towards the road, that is misinformation. People have got their own views. We follow the procedure. We always get advice from Zema. Zema will tell us what we're expected to do. We've got a license for quarrying on the place. We've got a fire license, right? All the licenses that are required by the government, we have them. And in fact, whoever is complaining now has come on it because the thing is closed now. We are no longer picking gravel. Whatever we are doing now, we are just leveling it. We've reached the end of whatever we are doing. There's nothing illegal about that thing. Whatever advice was given by the council, we are following it. And you can see, even if we got to jump, the road is 1 meter down.
He equally explained that the pit, which now looks like a dam, has been decommissioned in that it is no longer operational and that it was advised to put the markings and barricades around the area. He says the Chilanga Council and the Zambia Environmental Management Agency ZEMA are aware of the pit, which started some 15 years ago.
I challenge them to come. I'll show them my papers. I don't do that thing at night. I do whatever I'm doing during the day. So, why should I be scared?
By broadcast time, we could not get hold of ZEMA officials to understand the environmental impact assessment of the area. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia, YADI's president, Ian Banda, has challenged the government and other stakeholders to be more inclusive of persons with disabilities when dealing with policy matters. Mr. Banda, who spoke during the handover of 32 tricycles to persons with disabilities in Lusaka Wednesday, says the plight of people living with disabilities can only be addressed if urgency is given to addressing their challenges. The 32 tricycles were donated by Cheshire Homes Society of Zambia, St. Paul's Parish of Chipata Compound, in conjunction with Mobility Worldwide. More in this report.
They say disability is not inability. The only difference is how one views their condition. Wednesday, 12 October 2022, some persons with disabilities in Lusaka's Kanyama compound were happy after receiving tricycles which are meant to ease their mobility. The 32 tricycles were donated by Chisha Home Society of Zambia, St. Paul's Parish of Chipata Compound in Lusaka, in conjunction with Mobility Worldwide. And the beneficiaries of the tricycles have thanked the donors, saying this will now enable them to start up businesses, considering that they now have means of moving.
Yenda mfuna kuti olowoda business waoda wabino wake waika so chabe waenda wankala wagulisa na wichi anda nanga nkala nilibe wichi ya sininga gulisa nanga zaenda bwanji.
By giving us this, it's more like empowering us because we'll be able to move and get some orders, selling to the community and make something to help our children. So through this help, it's more like they have empowered us even financially.
Others have also challenged the government to help improve roads in their area, which they say will make it impossible for them to move their tricycles when the rains come.
Nje bitinkala skuri mushi Brika road kuri kumankala manzi kumankalira manzi mwe uzaenda bukani na uche road ije ibwera ku police road ije iri kuja Kanyama clinic iri kuja.
They have called for empowerment from the relevant authorities now that their means of mobility has been established.
No, waita business so kubrika top up mama ti chitirako ka business tombogulisa waita bwanji mukudya tambosova ko va kunyumba ogulako ungaso chabe.
And Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion in Zambia, YADI's President Ian Banda has thanked the donors for the gesture and has also challenged government and other stakeholders to be more inclusive of persons with disabilities when dealing with policy issues.
However, this is an eye-opener to different government institutions and the government itself. We are also happy that during the recent budgetary allocation on the assistive devices, an allocation of the assistive devices has been increased. However, we still need more funding, because importing assistive devices as persons with disabilities such as wheelchairs, canes for persons with blind disability has still remained a cost for us to import.
We want also to appeal to the government to increase the budgetary allocation to providing facilities such as cycles and also wheelchairs for persons with disabilities, so that they are not confined to their homes, so that they can get out there and get involved in developmental activities.
The smiles on the faces of the beneficiaries explains it all. Therefore, other organizations have been challenged to imitate the good works that have been shown by the institutions that put resources together to help persons with disabilities. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Driving School Association of Zambia, ZAMBIAN, has urged traffic officers to apply traffic rules uniformly across the country. In an interview with Camnet News, Association Acting National Coordinator Faith Nankamba says her organization has noted with concern that the application of traffic rules differs from one location to the other due to weak enforcement of laws in other towns as compared to Lusaka. Ms. Nankamba has cited the wearing of helmets for motorbike riders, that it is only enforced in Lusaka, while bikes and cyclists are left scot-free in other areas such as Eastern and Central Province. The association has since called on the government to stiffen the laws and ensure traffic officers apply and enforce the law throughout the country and not just in Lusaka.
Driving Schools Association of Zambia would like to urge traffic officers and other users of the road to apply traffic rules uniformly across the country. We have noted with concern that the application of traffic rules differs in different localities of the country, mainly attributed to the weak enforcement in other towns as compared to Lusaka. For example, the Driving Schools Association of Zambia has observed the wearing of helmets for motorbike riders is only enforced in Lusaka, unlike other cyclists that are let scot-free in other areas. It's unfortunate that we have continued to record road traffic accidents in the country, most of which can be avoided if traffic rules were followed to the latter. As Driving Schools Association of Zambia, we would like to call upon the government to stiffen the laws and ensure traffic officers aptly enforce the law throughout the country and not just Lusaka. This would greatly reduce the number of traffic accidents and deaths on the roads.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
For immediate coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet Television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet Television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Youths in Lusaka's central constituency have urged the skeptical jobless youths to take advantage of the Constituency Development Fund CDF that will be allocated in 2023 to rise from their predicament, as they have witnessed various cooperatives being funded under the 2022 25.7 million allocation. Speaking to Camnet News after being given various grants Wednesday at Lusaka Civic Center, some youths spoken to say they will make sure that the grants not only benefit their cooperatives but also their communities through employment creation. Meanwhile, Lusaka Central Councillor Mobutu Madienkuku hopes that the grants will help in reducing unproductivity among the youths. More in this report.
Apart from achieving grassroots development, the 25.7 million KWACHA Constituency Development Fund CDF under the current administration, which was increased to 1.6 million KWACHA, is hoped to solve the unemployment problem of Zambia, with youth accounting for over 50% of job seekers, according to World Bank data. While the provision for citizens to form cooperatives and apply for funds under the CDF has been given, the response from some citizens has not been positive throughout 2022, with many expressing doubt and others giving up due to the lengthy application process. In view of the high numbers of cooperatives that have benefited so far in 2022, beneficiaries have challenged citizens in need of economic empowerment to take an example from those who benefited and rise to the challenge in 2023, which is only 2 months away. Speaking to Camnet News after receiving grants for their cooperatives at Lusaka Civic Center Wednesday, some beneficiaries from Lusaka Central Constituency add that cooperative members should not only aim at benefiting themselves, but also helping the communities through employment creation once the businesses take off.
I'm encouraging them to say, start now. If they don't know what to do, then they need to inquire for those who have already done the process and the procedure. It's very easy. You know, sometimes it feels tiresome and you may feel discouraged because the paperwork is not as simple as we can think. Yeah, there are offices to go through, but in every achievement, you don't need to get tired. If you want to achieve something,
it's still on. They can still form and improve their living. So we are very happy today to receive this money, a grant, which we are given. We are going to use it wisely to improve our life and our children and other fellow people.
To kickstart our project. In fact, our main project is poultry. Yeah, so this grant, it will help us to start up that project, which we had planned for, and then it will help a lot of youths and women, those that are not employed.
That way we will employ some people like youths. They will benefit from us, from that poultry farming, and we are going to feed our families through that poultry farming.
Meanwhile, Independence Ward Councillor in Lusaka Central Constituency, Mubotu Majenkuku, has added his voice.
So the purpose of this is to make sure that our colleagues can proliferate their businesses. They can be able to go into various businesses and expand on what the new Dawn government has been saying, which is to make sure that the economy improves. And this must be felt in the households of the people, as the president has been saying.
With 2023 around the corner and mass youth unemployment still prevailing in Zambia, the onus is on relevant authorities to increase sensitization on how citizens can benefit through these funds. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Zambia has recorded an increase in exports to the United States of America, rising from $24 million in 2020 to $42 million in 2021, which is a twofold growth. Announcing the development at the inaugural U.S.-Zambia Business Forum in Lusaka today, Acting Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Elias Mubanga said the statistics indicate a steady rise in the utilization of the African Growth and Opportunities Act preferential arrangement, which has further provided an opportunity for market access for Zambian products. He has noted that a dialogue forum is cardinal as it offers an opportunity to promote collaboration between the two countries that are founded on mutual benefits and strong economic diplomacy. The 2 days forum being held is the fulfillment of a request that President Hakainde Hichilema made during this year's January visit to South Africa and has attracted business delegates from sectors that include energy, ICT, construction, engineering, health, finance and agriculture, who are exploring investment opportunities in the country. Meanwhile, U.S. Ambassador to Zambia Mike Gonzalez said the U.S. government stands ready to partner with the Zambian government to ensure that the country seizes the energy of recovering the economy extraordinarily. And at the same event, Minister of Science and Technology Felix Mutati called for cooperation with the United States of America in cybersecurity and digital infrastructure.
The fixed wireless broadband internet to assist us in connecting the unconnected. Others call it satellite, in simpler English. That is the only way you are going to minimize the delivery cost to that last person. And we think the US are up there. And we could have some conversation in detail regarding that. In the digital infrastructure, call it simply a national computing center, a national computer center. This is where you're dealing with digital signatures and issues like that, those complicated ones. And you think you are big boys and girls in that particular space. So what we ask simply is that we could have a much more detailed conversation regarding these two key investment opportunities, which is in cybersecurity, one, and in digital infrastructure.
The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has unearthed a smuggling scam that smugglers have been using to evade paying customs duties and taxes by using buses to beat customs procedures. ZRA has in particular discovered that smugglers at Nakonde border have been repackaging their consignments into smaller units, which are then loaded onto the trailers of the buses. In a statement, ZRA Acting Corporate Communications Manager Oliver Nzala says the bus owners merely get a few passengers as a disguise to their smuggling activities.
As an authority, we have unearthed the smuggling scam that smugglers have been using at our major borders to, evade paying customs duties and taxes by using buses. So what they have been doing, particularly when we look at Nakonde border, is that the smugglers or the importers would break down their larger consignments into smaller units and then pack them into sacks or any other available, packing units onto the trailers of these buses. And then what they also do in collaboration with, the drivers and the bus owners is to just get a few passengers onto the buses. Some of them do not even, carry passengers. So we'd like to warn the bus operators and the owners to ensure that, they are aware of what their buses are carrying, because once we discover that that bus is carrying smuggled items, we will seize the goods, forfeit them, and also will also forfeit and seize the vessel or the bus that has been used in that smuggling activity.
We'll take our second and final break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. Rainglow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. And now in international news, following the Lesotho elections, Maseru residents have reacted to the results in which the businessman turned politician Sam Matekane is set to become the Southern African country's next prime minister after cobbling together a coalition headed by his Revolution for Prosperity party. He says much work lies ahead economically. A constitutional monarchy entirely surrounded by South Africa on which it depends economically, Lesotho has been governed by a string of rickety coalition governments for the past decade, and many are pleased with that. Meanwhile, the new Ebola outbreak in Uganda has killed 19 people, the Ministry of Health in Kampala said Tuesday. The Ministry of Health also said 5 medical staff members that contracted Ebola from treating the first confirmed case in the East African nation in September have recovered and been discharged from an isolation unit in Entebbe. For more in international news, we have a roundup.
5 medical staff members that contracted Ebola from treating the first confirmed case in Uganda in September have recovered and been discharged from an isolation unit in Entebbe. The first cases were reported in Mubende district in the center of the country before the epidemic, confirmed by the authorities on September 20, spread to the neighboring districts.
We were there, we received all the treatment that we needed, even all the treatment that may not be enough to support all the other people that are affected. But because us, we are medical people who were given that privilege and we received the treatment, we want to thank the ministry and the other partners, the WHO, the GMEDIC, the IDI. We thank all of you.
Uganda's health ministry on Tuesday reported an Ebola patient to have died at a hospital in the capital, Kampala, the first there in the current outbreak.
So to date we have 5 districts that are affected, and we have 54 cumulative confirmed cases. Out of these, we have unfortunately lost 19 people, and we have 20 recoveries. The 20 recoveries include the health workers who have been discharged as of today.
Ebola spreads between humans by direct contact with bodily fluids and contaminated environments. Funerals can be a particular risk if mourners have direct contact with the body.
Following the Lesotho elections, Musero residents react to the result in which the businessman turned politician Sam Matekane is set to become the South African country's next prime minister after gobbling together a coalition headed by his party. He says much work lies ahead economically. Our country is in trouble. There is no money. When there is no money, you may wish that things must happen in a certain way. But when there is nothing, there is nothing. We have to tighten our belts. A constitutional monarchy entirely surrounded by South Africa, on which it depends economically. Lesotho has been governed by a string of rickety coalition governments for the past decade, and many are not pleased with that. What has occurred is what most of us were hoping for. More than anything, people wanted to change, and they made the right choice because people are craving for development, people are craving for change. I realized that there were a lot of youth voters and a lot of new voters. A lot of those people felt that people in this government didn't do anything for them.
They felt that the people who are already in government, or the people who were in government, the past government, didn't do anything for them.
Basically, they are turning this whole country into a joke. But I hope, and we have elected this new person, the whole country, because we hope that things change and we have everything that we've always wanted.
The outgoing parliament failed to pass a law aimed to strengthen political stability. The bill would ban lawmakers from switching party allegiance within the first 3 years. The Matekane-led government promises that pushing through this reform will be part of its agenda in the first 100 days in office.
It's now time for sports news. Zambian women at the World Cup Pool Championship have beaten host Morocco 13-12 and vowed to do its best by going back to its winning ways. The team, which is participating in the Black Ball tournament in Tangiers, Morocco, led by Captain Tamara Nguira, proved that they are African champions by having beaten Team Australia last night. The captain of the side and her team mates have promised to make Zambia and Africa proud in their remaining games.
We lost, and I might say losing is part of the game. There's motivation in the team. The spirit is high. There's focusedness. Right now we're focusing, and then that's how come we've come back. Stay glued to the screens. We promise you more wins to come.
Well, definitely Zambia is a team to watch. But like our captain said, we had a few setbacks, but that actually even made us even grow and become more stronger. Losing is part of the game, but more wins are coming. When we start, we start. Like we always say from back home, we always come from behind. So this is our attacking side now. Watch out for a very good game moving forward. For our fans out there who are watching, thank you so much for your support, and we won't let you down. We're bringing the cup home.
To end Camnet television news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. PF drags ECZ to court for proceeding with the KWACHA and KABUSHI by-elections. Firefighters prevent a fueling station calamity. National health insurance to cover kidney transplants. And in international news, Uganda's Ebola outbreak death toll climbs to 19. In sports news, Zambian women beat Morocco at the World Cup Pool Championship. We now look at the current verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Matthew 6, verse 31 to 34. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.